All right, so tonight we're going to talk about going business for the introvert. I don't know if many of you know this, but I, for a very long time, was kind of shy. People who knew me well, I would open up to and kind of, give them me, but for the most part, I kind of kept to myself and kept quiet, sat back, watched what was going on, and that's how I lived life, and it worked very well for me for the first 20-something years of my life. But then once I got into direct sales, I realized that, well, I'm going to have to put myself out there in places that I haven't been comfortable going before. So how do I go about doing this? And that's what I'm going to share with you tonight. For those of you who have been on my presentations before, I try to keep it pretty short so we can get questions and answers out of the way. For anybody who has some questions and answers about the presentation. So, most people, when you tell them you're shy, they're going to go, "Are you really that shy?" Well, yes, we are. We just, it's not very easy to break out of that shell once you get in there. There's a few negatives to being shy. Sometimes it's hard to see that people are shy. You might seem outgoing. You might be able to put on a nice little front when people are around, but in the end, it's not how you truly feel, and you're very uncomfortable making yourself do it. Then it makes I'm sorry, I drew a blank there for a second. You don't want to be confronted with people. You don't want to step in front of people. And so it makes people doubt that you can do it just a little bit harder too. And that makes it hard on you because everybody's going, "Well, she can't do it. She's too shy to be able to do this." So you think negatively on yourself that you can't do it as well. Then it's easier, you say to yourself that it's easier if they come to you. And I found myself doing that a lot in the very beginning. Just in the beginning, I was with Avon, and the way I would work my business was I would just go and sling books out. I would go through 700 books every 2 weeks and sling them out into my neighbors' yards, sling them all across town. Every 2 weeks, I had these little sections mapped out, and that's how I'd done my business. And to me, that was working. I was spending a good bit of money. I was getting my return on that money, but that was my way of being an introvert and being able to get those sales. A lot of other companies, their books are going to be a little more expensive. The company I'm with now, you're not going to get the price that Avon would give you for 700 books. And pretty much no other company out there is going to do that. So you can't really afford to go and buy 700 books at a time and just go toss them into people's yards. So we'll get to some other ways to market on that here in just a minute. But then you've got the positive side to being shy. And that is the fact that you tend to learn a lot more because you're quiet and sit back and watch. You take in your surroundings. You know more of what's going on. And you know exactly where you need to be. You just struggle to be able to find the way to get there. And that's how we're going to try to help you a little bit tonight. But you also have the ability, being a shy person, to accomplish great things because you have given yourself the ability to gain the knowledge that you need to get where you want to go. Now let's just go ahead and put some things into practice that you can use for getting yourself out there. So if you see the slide here, you see the picture of the guy giving the card to the girl, and that's kind of how we feel when we try to give strangers our product info or a sample of a product or whatever it may be. We kind of feel shy and timid, and it's hard to break out of your shell and go, "Hey, let's have this conversation." But one of the things that you can do is trying to fit it into a conversation that the person may already be having. Like, say, the person in front of you in line at the store is looking for something for a cold or a new purse, lipstick, mascara, weight loss products. Say, "Hey, you know what? I think I can help you with that." That's a way to kind of slide yourself in there nice and easy, real smooth. And then if you can't find a way to fit your product into the conversation that they're already having. Compliment them. Like, if you sell jewelry, compliment them on their jewelry. If you sell clothes, compliment them on their clothes. If you sell hair products, hair accessories, makeup, perfumes, all that different kind of thing, compliment them on something that's similar to the item that you're selling. And that's a good way to break the ice when you don't have that lead into their conversation that they're already having. Just give them a simple little compliment. They'll turn around and go, "Oh, well, thank you." And that opens you up immediately to being able to Jen Murphy says, "Have I been following her?" But that leads up immediately to being able to break the ice with people. So, keep it simple. Make sure that you have something small that they can read. I have these little jewelry bags that I found at Walmart in the craft section that I've put a business card, a mini brochure, and just a couple little slips of paper that I've printed out about my company and about my product, and I keep them all in those nice little containers. I've got them in my car rubber banded to where if I run out of what's in my purse, I have extra backups in my car. So make sure that when you do these that you include all methods of contact for you. That leaves the space open for them to be able to also reach out to you in whatever contact method is the best and works best for them. So some of the words that you might want to use would be something like, "I know you're in a hurry. I just want to give you this little bit of info to take with you, if that's okay. Also, if you don't mind, can I have your number so I can call you and chat a little later?" And if you're newbie in town, then you can throw in that fact. Say, "Hey, I'm kind of new in town. Maybe we could chat about some local places that would be good to eat," or just throw something like that in there, and that'll kind of help them to warm up to you if you've not been living somewhere very long and kind of need to meet new people. So get your info and go out. Just go. Stop there, and if you keep on talking with them, hanging around, trying to interest them in you and your product, then you're going to make them bored, and they're going to take off and run, and you'll never hear from them again. So be simple. It's less scary. Hand them the little packet of information. They may look at it kind of like it's crazy. You might want to, if they do, explain something short and sweet about what it is, and ask if you can have their number to call them and talk to them about it later, and there you go. So, quick tips to prepare and get yourself ready to go out. One of the things that I do with my business is when I go out with the intentions of I'm going to XYZ with purpose of ABC. So I already know if I'm going out to pay bills, if I'm going out to get groceries, if I'm going out for an appointment, whatever it is, and I have my materials ready for that. However, I also prepare a few extra things so that I'll have them with me, because you never know when somebody around you may hear your conversation and go, "Hey, I'm curious." So have samples and materials that are prepackaged so that you can hand them out very easily. Like I said, I like to keep mine just slipped down in the side of my purse, which I carry a tote bag for a purse, but I keep them tucked in the little cell phone holder in there, and I'll just hand them out to people when I hear a complaint about an ailment or something that they have going on that my business can help them with. I just automatically pull it out of my purse and go, "Here you go. You should give me a call on that. And while I'm at it, I want to go ahead and grab your number so that I can call you and talk to you about it after your shift or whenever that might be later on." Create short scripts so that you can easily memorize and spout them off and cut off. That's my general practice. Is you don't know how many times we'll be out in a restaurant, in a drive-through, somewhere. It doesn't matter where to me. Now I'm to the point I will share my business anywhere. So if I'm talking one-on-one with somebody and all I've got is 30 seconds, It doesn't give me time to embarrass myself. It doesn't give me time to embarrass my company. And it gives them just enough information to want more. So I make my little short 30-second script, and then I cut off. I practice it, and then I'll cut off. I stop dead when I'm finished with my script. And then if you go through and you practice that way, then you're going to know too when to stop and let people go on about their business. You don't want to hold anybody any longer than it's going to take them to wash their hands. That's a general practice and a general rule. When you very first meet a new stranger, you don't want to keep them very long. You just want to grab their attention and go. That's something that's memorable. Most people would go and spout on for 45 minutes and leave them going, "Oh my gosh, Becky Sue, did you hear what she done? Like, she stood there and talked to me forever. I was trying to get the kids in the car, go get groceries, then I had to go get Jim from work. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to call her because she'll just talk my ears off, and I just can't do that." And that's not what you want. So, short, less than washing your hands, 30 seconds, happy birthday song thing. And that will entice them to go, "Hey, wait a minute," and scratch their head. Because people don't do that. They would rather stand and talk. So, don't be afraid of the telephone. It can only be your friend. And this is something that I myself have had to learn. I don't do great with making telephone calls. It's not my best, and I tend to forget to make a telephone call unless I set a reminder in my telephone that's an audible reminder to tell me, "Hey, you need to do this in 15 minutes. Just because I do so much better through texting, messaging, emailing, written communication, I can log it, remember it, and it works better for me. So it was a struggle to be able to be willing to call people. I would always make the excuse of, well, I don't know if they're busy, or I don't know if they're having supper, or, well, maybe I don't think they're in bed by now, or, oh, they're getting their kids bath. There was always some kind of excuse that I could come up with to not make that phone call. But you've got to remember the industry-wide saying of the fortune is in the follow-up, because it's true. Use that tool to your advantage. There are so many of us introverts out there who are afraid to make that phone call because they don't want to bother the person on the other end, that their leads never get followed up with and somebody else picks it up down the road. There's so many missed stories of, well, Jane was going to join me. She marked a 10 on her paper, and I never called her, and, well, now she's over there in Margaret's team. And that's how it goes, guys. So follow up with these people. You never know when is going to be a good or bad time for them. If they don't answer you on your first call, don't assume they don't want to talk to you because they don't like you, or they don't like your product, or whatever it may be. They may have something going on in that moment that they can't answer the phone. You know, they may have a crisis that they didn't see coming. Like this morning, my son had an accident, or had some issues, and we ended up having to take him to the doctor. For that amount of time, I was unavailable and didn't plan to be unavailable. So anybody who was trying to reach me couldn't reach me during that time. So we've always got to keep those thoughts in the back of our minds too, of life happens. So give it a few times, try it, keep going, keep following up, because that's what's going to get you your parties, your sales, and your recruits for your company and your business. Then the next tip for being prepared is a mini show bag. And this can be anything, you know, regardless what size you want to make it, just something that you can keep in your car to share with other people on the go. Keep 3 or 4 of this, 3 or 4 of that. That way you've always got an extra to give to Susie and Sally, and they can just enjoy it and go order on your website an hour after they get home and order $700 worth of stuff. Whereas if you don't have this bag in the back of your car, you're going to miss that opportunity to do that 5 or 10 minute show in the convenience store parking lot with one person. And you've got to remember, guys, shows and bookings and appointments with one person is better than doing none at all. By doing that, you can book yourself one party under yourself and let all of these people take turns being mystery hosts, however you want to do it. But it's a great way to be able to get the sales and the goals that you're looking to meet without having to get in front of a large crowd, which is pretty uncomfortable for most of us anyway. So, we've done established and we know that it's hard, and you and your product are 100% worthy of being public knowledge. Getting out there and sharing yourself is not an intrusion on anyone else. You're basically going to be providing them something that they could get in a big box store and pay the corporate man to buy another yacht, or they can be helping you pay your bills, provide for your family, and do the things that you dream to do. It's all in how you approach it. It's all in how you share it with them. Do these short little steps. Have your one-on-one meetings. That will get your feet wet into what you're doing to where you are able and willing to do those bigger, larger parties and spaces. So, go ahead and schedule your follow-up now. And I actually should have moved this slide a couple back, but we'll go with it. The best way to ensure that your calls are going to be answered is by scheduling the time with the person that you're with then. If they expect your call, it's not going to be an interruption into their life and their day. They're already going to know. So don't fear interrupting them. When you're building that relationship with them, you're not as much of an interruption, but you can't assume that you're going to be an interruption until you're told, hey, I'm kind of in the middle of. Don't take it beforehand that you're going to be interrupting and bothering any of your leads and follow-ups. If you let them know beforehand that it's okay to let you down, then they're going to be more accepting of anything that you have to say to them on your call. So maybe remind them before they go running off into the distance that it's okay to say no when you get on the telephone and talk about these things, but just try to be open-minded to, the product and what we're going to talk about. And then creating separate scripts for your follow-up calls and emails is a really great thing to do. It's very simple. Jot down a 30-second intro, and after you ask that first initial question of the person that you're on the phone with, as long as you keep following up with questions, you're pretty much going to be able to consistently keep the conversation flowing, find out what their needs are, what they like, what they would be interested in, and therefore turn that into sales and recruiting. And then having practiced that is going to make it easier to roll off of your tongue when you go to share it with the people that you're speaking with. Hence the fact that this isn't all tying in together perfectly. Anyway, sorry about that. Remember why you're working. When you are preparing yourself to make these phone calls, when you're preparing yourself to go outside of your comfort zone and actually put yourself out there, you want to first think about your why and the reason that you're working, so that you can find a way to do whatever it is that you're fixing to do and make it successful. Make it your own. Do your thing and put your stamp on your company. You can do it. So let's talk for just a minute about how all this ties in to scheduling your day. When you go and start setting up these appointments with people, you've got to set 15 minutes aside for each conversation. You want to cut it off at 15 minutes because you don't want the conversation to run too long. You want to keep them interested, and you want to be scheduling that next interview. You want to be scheduling that next, hey, watch this video. I'll call you back at X time, that kind of thing. So you want to make sure that you keep all of your business scheduled. And so when you schedule your day, you have no choice but to stick to it. That way, if you want to be accountable for your business, this is the easiest way to do it. So then you're going to pencil in the time for those follow-up calls, email advertisements, all those kind of things. And by scheduling the time into your day, most days will fall perfectly into place. Now, I say most, not always, because we're always going to have those days that, or 2, sometimes 5 or 10, don't ever let it go too far, because then you're going to get into that funk that's going to be hard to get out of. But always scheduling is going to, most of the time, help you to stay nice and organized so that everything flows the way you want it to. But you're always going to want to schedule in time down here at the end that is just emergency time. What bad happened, what I'm going to have to replace this time for this or this time for that. That leaves you an open window of time to where your whole day doesn't get wrecked and messed up. So, for example, here we have 10 o'clock, we're going to call our leads. 11 o'clock, we're going to set up a weekly newsletter. 12, we're going to put on social media alerts. Then at 1:30, we're going to work on training stuff. And then at 3 o'clock, we'll go get the kids from school. And usually during that get the kids time is my emergency. Okay, this is what I had to put off working on for right now, so let's go over here and do this. Because I've always got a tablet, laptop, cell phone, something within 3 inches of my fingers. So, and then that's sort of how my day looks. I start way before that time of day, but this is the way that I dedicate certain times to certain activities so that I set those bounds and do everything that I can to keep them. Now, begin positively every day. In order to break out of your shell and make the changes needed to get out there and get into business the way that you would absolutely want to, because you're on this call, you're going to want to try to be a little more positive every day. Get yourself in the habit of keeping that positive note by your bed and so you can see it every morning. Write that positive note on your bathroom mirror. Make sure that you have a positive note on your dashboard. It's real easy to forget once you walk out of the house that you're awesome. You know, you get in the car, you want to jam out to your music, get motivated, get pumped, but sometimes you just kind of crash. It's not, I'm not a morning person, whatever it may be. You just kind of crash. So having that positive affirmation on your dashboard really gives you that last minute, you've got it girl or you've got it guy kind of day. You can never add enough positive to your day. One of the things that for many years was hard for me was the positive part and staying positive and being positive, and I still struggle with that daily. But being able to add the little bits, the little pieces, gives me the inspiration in that moment, aha moment of the day, I guess you could say, that I need to buckle down and keep on going, regardless of what negative may come in. When you are happy, you're going to produce happy results. When you're happy in your life, you're going to be able to make others happy. So it's all a big rolling ball, and it continues to go. And being positive makes that difference in being willing to step out of your shell, step out of the box, and actually meet that first person and say hello. All right, so let's do a recap right quick of tonight. First thing first, always be prepared. Step outside of your comfort zone using some of the tips that we've given tonight. Share positive thoughts about yourself to yourself daily. Contacts who know that you're contacting them aren't bothered when you call. They're going to welcome your call. Staying inside the box will not produce results. And that's something that, you know, as an introvert, we struggle with. So this is something that I want to keep reiterating to everybody. Staying inside the box will not produce results. It's just, you can get to a certain level in your box, but once you get to that certain level, you're going to have to stop and start all over again somewhere else because you're not going to be able to go any further. So you're going to have to step outside of that box. You're going to have to get uncomfortable, but each baby step is a step, and it's better than no step. So taking each one of these little baby steps that we're putting in tonight, maybe not doing all of them at once, but doing one or two things here, one or two things there, it's really going to start making a difference in your business, how your business grows. My business personally doubled when I started to step outside of my box. Now that I am stepping into other people's boxes, it's growing even more. And these are things that you can do for your business and for yourself. So, if you like what you've heard tonight, but you didn't quite get all of the information that maybe you would like as far as yourself and your business, I've got a special offer for you tonight that is only for the people who are on this call. You're going to get 2 30-minute sessions to strategize about your business with me. Then you're going to get my own personal strategies for overcoming my introvert side and stepping outside of the box and kind of the things that I've done. And I don't normally just kind of give these things at a very cheap price. So just this alone is valued at roughly $129. And we're going to do it tonight at $39.95. Awesome, awesome price for this package, and I'm super excited to be sharing it with you. So if you're interested in this information and getting a copy of the presentation from tonight, then you can email the address that you see here, christiandirectsalesnetwork@gmail.com, and we will get back with you within 24 hours. And I'm going to go ahead and open the floor up for questions. All right, does anybody have any questions? No questions? Wow, you guys are super quiet tonight. All right, well, I will be posting a replay of this webinar for anybody who wasn't able to get on. And if there are no questions, we will go ahead and end the call. Give it just another couple seconds. No questions, no questions. All right. Well, you guys have a great night. I hope you got lots of great information out of this call. And like I said, it will be shared by tomorrow at the latest. So I hope you guys have a great night, and it was great talking with you.
But do you see what's happening though? I mean, she got it right. She's the one that wrote that book. That's one that took the picture with me at the end, and she was telling us that Kathleen had a vested interest in business. Uh, she she wrote the book on well, Lee Down. And